Dirty Family TV, the program na Hope Alive. And today will be Sunday. I don't come out and I go ask say waiting carry me on Sunday, but plenty carry me come out because our people they don't begin they carry their head they put for other places. And I want make I inform our people say we need to get focused. The Presidential Election Tribunal is not over. It is the hearing that is over, and they are writing their address. So we should not lose focus. We should be focused on the real issues at the tribunal. And the real issues, as we can see, is that Bola Tinubu's drug case is there, the 25% in FCT is there, the forged certificate and perjury is there, INEC not following its guidelines, Shetima's double nomination, the election massive rigging, the dual citizenship and perjury. Presidential Election Tribunal is not yet over, obedience. Please, we want you to stay focused. We have been having so many people asking me a whole lot of questions, and that's why I'm here today on a Sunday to at least chook my mouth into one of them, which is one letter will come out from Chicago State University. This letter from Chicago State University is talking about Bola Tinubu's records from that same university. And the person who tweeted na Reno Omokri, and he explained about him getting a new letter from this university saying that Tinubu attended that university. Now, the issue that we are talking about, as you can see on the screen, that letter is flowing everywhere. However, no be whether Tinubu attended Chicago State University or not. That is not our issue at the Election Petition Tribunal. What is at the Election Petition Tribunal is the fact that the certificate that Tinubu sent to INEC is not an original certificate from the same university. It is not about his academic record. It is about giving false information on oath in that form. That is it, and we should be focused on it. So please, I want obedience to really understand that they are trying to remove our focus, and we should not be. Reno Omokri, that brought this letter from Chicago State University, should have also asked the state, because he said he went there himself and collected the letter. Now, if he has, why didn't he ask them to give him a copy of this certificate, which we have been displaying, the fake certificate that is with INEC and the original certificate that David Hundeyin got from the same university. But he went there just to ascertain whether he is a male or he's a female. Whether he's a male or a female is not before the election tribunal. What is before the election tribunal is whether he deposed on that very form, whether that certificate he gave them is fake or is real. Having said that, sometimes I feel very, I'm not happy when I hear people who ought to know they are supporting bad conduct, especially conduct of INEC. And I think that is what this Reno Omokri is doing. Maybe supporting their conduct instead of bringing out the fact that that very certificate, he should be showing the original certificate from that very institution, not a letter that is saying he's a male or he's a female. That is not our issue. I feel sorry for Nigeria when I see something like this. As you can see in the screen, this is the certificate that is original. This is what we are expecting him to tweet, that he went to that school and this is what he also saw, and not the fake one that is with INEC. If failure, let's even touch on the aspect of INEC. If failure to upload polling unit results on IREV does not affect electoral outcome, why did INEC make it mandatory? And that in case of disputes, reference must be made to uploaded results. my obedience, my fellow well-meaning Nigerians, our abilities to support what is wrong and give baptismal name of right to what is wrong, because we are benefiting from these wrong things, has retarded Nigerian democratic growth and development. That is why darkness is overwhelming light in Nigeria. Honestly, I weep for Nigeria. Nigeria cannot grow when we support evil because we are benefiting from it. Those who support evils in abuse of freedom will reap the fruit of evils. Let us have common standards for conduct. We cannot spend humongous amount of money to build credible democracy by falsehood. My obedience, I just, today being Sunday, I just feel that I need to come here as our people has mandated me to debunk these things and to make it clear that we need to focus on this. And we want us to take a very short clip from our sister, the African story with Gloria. Kudos to what she said. I watched this very video and I am actually thrilled. And I want obedience to also watch from this channel so that they can be thrilled on what she said we should stand up for and be focused on. We no go tey. We'll be back now.
To lovers of true democracy, please remain peaceful, but do not be silent. Do not despair. No matter what happens, you spoke up and you should be celebrated. Despite being disenfranchised, despite being deprived of your rights to vote, you have held on. Silence in the face of injustice borders on consent or even complicity. To those of you who have been paid, I am not even mad at you. It just hurts that you refuse to see the scheme. We can't all jump on a bandwagon simply because it's the trendy thing to do. Democracy was murdered in a way Nigeria has never known in its recent history. And there will never be a justification for it. Nobody is more Nigerian than anybody simply because of an accident of birth. Ever heard of the bystander effect? Those who do nothing because it isn't popular to do anything suffer the consequences. Because before you know it, the oppressor sways your way of thinking. You may laugh at those fighting for your democracy now because your preferred candidate is in power. And you may feel more popular, more powerful. Some of those who were even at the forefront of the EndSARS protests have suddenly been demonized. Why? Because we've all been brainwashed and divided. What changed between 2020 and now? The same democracy we were all crying for is what only some are still crying for, but alone. Some were bought over. Why? Because everybody has a price, right? And this is simply because it no longer suits your interest, or so you think. What happened to some of the Sorosoke, aka the coconut head generation? Are you suddenly afraid to speak? Why? Because it serves your interest, or have you just maybe completely given up on Nigeria? Well, let me tell you. The Sorosoke generation has fallen prey to being cheated. Obedience weren't the only ones cheated. We all were, because we've been robbed of true freedom. You may hate those speaking truth to power now, but two things are inevitable. Posterity will forever thank them, and your hatred of them will never ever match their love for Nigeria. These are people who have absolutely nothing to lose, but are fighting for you at the risk of their lives, their mental health, and their reputation. You laugh because the intimidation and suppression seem to have favored you. My prayer for you, however, is that you won't also face this level of injustice. And if you do, maybe, just maybe, they will have enough grace and strength to fight for you too.
In the words of the great Martin Luther King Jr., whatever affects one directly affects others indirectly. The violation of the rights of any group of people is a violation of the rights of all groups of people. And if after all the voter suppression, the voter intimidation, violence, the conspicuous rigging, the unfair disenfranchisement, if you still think these things are justifiable, then maybe, just maybe, Nigeria does deserve the kind of leaders it gets.
So my fellow obedience, let's focus on the real issues at the tribunal. And the real issues, like I've said, is always on the screen for you to note. The real issues at the tribunal are there. Let's focus on them as you can see them on the screen. You know, I want to also reflect back quickly because some people are asking the question, they are getting also confused about the issue that on the tribunal that this Wole Olanipekun, the lawyer of Tinubu, that brought the issue of whether Peter Obi is a member of Labour Party. And we say that thing is not a non-issue. Even Levi Uzoukwu, the lawyer to Labour Party, debunked it on that very day. That is a non-issue. So, as it stands now, I want to inform you that 4 years ago at the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal that was held at the same Abuja Appeal Court, but that is when President Muhammadu Buhari was in the defense of his case with Atiku Abubakar, that is Atiku versus Buhari petition, filed a motion. They filed a motion against that is Atiku Abubakar, alleging that he was a Cameroonian by Nigerian laws and hence not qualified to aspire for the presidency of Nigeria. Those that attended sessions in court witnessed intense pursuit of this particular motion with both documents tendered and witnesses testifying that Adamawa-born former vice president was indeed a Cameroonian. By Nigerian's constitution at the time, he contested for the president of the country. Incidentally, it was the same Chief Wole Olanipekun son leading Buhari's team in defense. It was the same Chief Lateef Fagbemi son leading APC. And it was the same Levi Uzoukwu son leading Atikus. So is this same Levi Uzoukwu now that is for us that did that thing for Atiku? So they know better. This wasted so much of legal time that those on the side of Atiku, including his counsel, were shaky, not actually confident that the tribunal ruling will swing in their favor. But during the ruling, the tribunal panel dismissed that motion, warning APC as at that time to desist from wasting cost time. Fast forward to today, which is Peter Obi's versus Tinubu. The Tinubu-Shetima legal team submitted documents in evidence with their sole witness testifying that Peter Obi was not a member of the Labour Party by the time he contested and won the primary of the party prior to the February 25 election. But let me inform you categorically that that is untrue. Obidati Family TV had a reporter that witnessed Labour Party's primary on May 30, 2022 in Asaba, Delta State, with Professor Pat Utomi in the forefront and two other aspirants dragging it to the voting hour. It would have been easy to knock off Peter Obi if Labour Party's constitution did not accommodate membership waiver in their curriculum. But a personality like Prof. Utomi stepped down at the podium before a full hall of delegates waiting to cast their votes. The other two candidates followed suit. Labour Party still followed the rules and conducted the primary with PO scoring 100% of the votes from the delegates from all states of the Federation. But before the primary, Peter Obi did not just wake up and registered for LP. He first took a legal steps in respecting his former party PDP's rules of disengagement. They meticulously followed all rules of the Constitution and Electoral Act in joining Labour Party, beginning with his ward in Agolo in Anambra State.